Rockies baseball is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of the Colorado Rockies. Always a hit, always Coca-Cola. By the Rocky Mountain News. If you live here, you get it. Call 1-800-892-NEWS for home delivery. By Chrysler, Dodge, and Jeep Eagle, the official vehicles of the Colorado Rockies. And by Original Coors, pure and simple, the last real beer. Welcome to the Southeast. We're at baseball's newest ballpark, the site of last year's Summer Olympics and now the home of the Braves. We welcome you to Atlanta, the start of a big road trip for the Rockies that will cover 4 cities in the next 10 days. And we begin with a 3-game weekend series with the Braves of Atlanta. Hi again, everyone. I'm Dave Armstrong along with Dave Campbell. Well, Dave, the big road test for the Rockies begin with maybe the biggest test of all, John Thompson going up against Greg Maddux.
Yeah, the Rockies are going to see great pitching this weekend. There's no question about it. John Thompson and Greg Maddux have been 2 of the club's top pitchers this year. Maddux has been for the Braves the last 7 years since he's been here. John Thompson's 7-8 this year, but the bullpen is blowing 5 games for him. He could have 12 wins. Greg Maddux, since he's come to Atlanta, only has an 88-33 record. He is baseball's premier pitcher.
He has won 4 Cy Young Awards. Now, John Thompson, the last time he pitched here at Turner Field, boy, what a special game this one was.
It really was. Rockies had a chance to grab an early lead. Dante Bichette thrown out by Andrew Jones. Thompson was on the money all night. He never went to a 3-ball count the entire game, but finally gave way in the 8th inning to Jerry Dipoto, and Chipper Jones ripped a single up the middle to score what proved to be the game-winning run as McCracken's throw far too late to get the runner coming in. But John pitched a brilliant ball game, and he did not get the loss. Chipper Jones got the win. But again, Thompson, 7 innings pitched, no walks, no 3-ball counts. That was the most impressive thing. He kind of pitched a Greg Maddux type game.
Do you think you get a little bit nervous as a pitcher going up against a Greg Maddux?
I think for most guys it's a challenge. I think you have to be very good, and instead of going out there and kind of hoping you get through the first inning, I think maybe you get a little more determined and just say, I can't afford a bad inning. I got to go after people early.
Dave, how about your AutoZone keys to the game?
I think number 1, with Greg Maddux, you can't go too deep in the count because he throws first pitch strikes. If he gets away ahead of you, he knows how to put you away. So you got to hit the first good thing you see, even though that helps him pitch count wise. John Thompson has to remember how he pitched in July, and the Rockies could take a huge first step on a good road trip if they could find a way to win tonight.
Well, Dante is reaching a peak, and we'll visit with Dante Bichette when we return to Turner Field in just a moment. Dante Bichette on a tear, including the game-winning grand slam in the Rockies' last game. Welcome back to Turner Field in Atlanta, where the Rockies are getting set to take on Greg Maddux and the Braves. We're joined now by Dante Bichette. Dante, you've been saying really since you had the knee surgery that it would take you some time to get over the effects of that surgery. You said, give me till the All-Star break. And I guess the numbers reflect that. Your power numbers are really coming up.
Yeah, I've started to feel a lot better, and I've started to get some strength in my legs. And everything, even a power pitcher, if you ask him where the most important part is, it's his legs. So the strength's getting there, and the confidence is coming back, and I'm starting to hit the ball a little better.
How about defensively? You've got to feel a lot better, too, about your play in left field.
Well, I knew it was going to be touch and go for a while. I said, give me to the All-Star break before you really count on me defensively. By the end of the year, I should be playing as good as I've ever played, and by next year, I should be 100% ready to go.
Dante, not only that, but you have to also factor in all the trade talks surrounding you about the mid part of the season in July. It seemed to be swirling all over you. What kind of an effect does that have on a player and maybe you personally?
Well, it's been difficult. You know, you want to give your best and go out there and feel appreciated and feel wanted. So for me, it was kind of tough. I've been here a long time, really developed a relationship with the fans. So what I did, I just went in and talked to Bob Gebhardt and Jared McMorris and told them, I love it here. No matter what happens, I want to be a Rocky forever. But I understand this business part of it. And, things were kind of cleared up.
And not only that, but your numbers are reflective of that. In fact, Don Baylor was telling me just a few moments ago that he thinks not only the knee getting better, but also your attitude and the feeling that maybe you feel more comfortable that you're going to be around for a while. It really has helped you as well.
I think so. It definitely takes a lot of the distraction, and you can just focus on what you got to do and play baseball. So hopefully that's what I'll be able to do. And, you know, it's still a little bit of season left. We can do some damage.
Speaking of focus, you got Greg Maddux tonight. How do you go after him?
Well, Greg is a complete pitcher. He's done his homework. He knows how to pitch guys, and the thing about Greg is he can execute. He can go out there and get it done. So you can't try to do too much. You got to try to get a strike off him and hit it where it's pitched, hit it hard, play great defense and pitch along with him, and you got a chance to beat him.
You hit a grand slam in the last game. You remember what we did right before the game?
Yes, we did.
Good luck.
All right.
Dante Bichette and the Rockies getting set to take on Greg Maddux and the Braves. The first pitch in the starting lineups from Turner Field in just a moment. Welcome back to the place now affectionately known as the TED here in Atlanta. The Rockies and the Braves, the start of a 3-game weekend series. Well, Greg Maddux on the hill for the Atlanta Braves, the 4-time Cy Young Award winner, 7-time Gold Glove winner. Greg Maddux getting the start for the Braves tonight, his 31st start of the year. And the lineup that he will face, brought to you by the Rocky Mountain News. Leading off for the Rockies will be Walt Weiss. He'll be followed by Ellis Burks. Ellie is on a tear, 3 for 4, a double on Wednesday. He has hit .457 in his last 8 games. Larry Walker follows him, then Andres Galarraga, Dante Bichette, Vinny Castilla, who surprised us with a little visit in our pregame show with Dante this evening, then Kurt Madwaring, Nafi Perez at second, and John Thompson on the hill.
We can spend the rest of the telecast telling you about Greg Maddux, but we'll look at his numbers for this year. Tell you that in the last 6 years, he has the best record since World War II, best ERA of any pitcher, and that includes the great Sandy Koufax. 88-33 since coming to Atlanta. When he gets 5 runs or more of run support, he's 66-1. The one game he lost was to the Rockies in 1995, 6-5, as they beat him about 2 blocks from here. He is the consummate pitching professional.
And that block has been knocked out. The old field that the Braves used to play in has been leveled. The defense behind Maddux, brought to you by Coca-Cola. For the Braves, in that outfield is Klesko, Lofton, and Tucker. Chipper Jones at third, Jeff Blauser at short, Graffinino is the second baseman, Lemke on the DL, McGriff at first, and the battery of Perez and Greg Maddux. And the first pitch over for a strike to Walt Weiss.
Talked to Walt before the game today. I says, how do you attack this guy? He's the one guy I'm afraid to go deep in the count with because he makes such quality pitches.
That's a foul tip and a strike. The umpires for tonight's game, Mike Winters, the guy calling the balls and strikes behind the plate. Angel Hernandez at first, Joe West, the crew chief, at second, Jerry Lane at third. 2 strikes on Weiss. Perez setting up outside. That's where the pitch goes, a changeup that dips low.
Walt just says he does too many things to you when he gets ahead of you. He can go changeup, he can go fastball in or away. Maddux has got him right now, but Walt has at least evened it out to 2-2.
Again, Walt Weiss, one of the things that he is doing for the Rockies in this leadoff role is he is taking a lot of pitches, which allows the rest of the lineup to see the repertoire of the pitcher that night. Weiss with a little flare out into right center. Lofton and Tucker charging, and it's Lofton who makes the catch.
Kenny got a pretty good break on that one and was able to track it down, but if it's a moral victory for Walt Weiss, he just got 5 pitches from Greg Maddux. This is a guy that threw a 78-pitch complete game against the Chicago Cubs earlier this year, and if you multiply 5 times 27, all of a sudden you got Maddux up around 130. So if they can wear him out and get in that mid-relief, that's a pretty good game plan.
Absolutely. Here's Ellis Burks. He looks at a ball down low. Well, we were asking Don Baylor, Dave, how he would attack if he were hitting against Greg Maddux, and he basically said the same thing as Walt Weiss. Go after him early in the count. Look for a pitch, middle in, and then try to rip it. So Don Baylor, a great hitter in his own right, he said that's how I would go after Maddux. You know he's going to throw strikes. That one down the line, but just foul wide of third. 2-1 now to Burks.
I had a game earlier this year with Maddox against the Florida Marlins. In the first 7 innings, the first 21 batters he faced, he had 21 first pitch strikes. He threw a ball to Ellis on the first pitch.
Yeah, so he's 1 for 2 so far in this game. That pitch over for a strike, and it's 2-2. Burks, by the way, a belated happy birthday to him. He turned 33 as we were flying here yesterday.
We're going to keep an eye on Eddie Perez, the catcher, tonight, especially with the right-handed batters, how he sets up off the plate.
Like there. And Burks swings and misses. First strikeout for Maddox.
What he'll do is set up off the plate, outside, and then when the ball comes back in the strike zone, he'll frame it back towards the zone. Now, this ball probably is a strike. Yeah, that's got at least 2 to 3 inches of the plate, but Maddox will keep testing the home plate umpire, Mike Winters, tonight and see how much of that outside corner he'll give him and how much off the edge.
Nice to have that kind of control, isn't it?
Oh, I mean, this is one guy that can throw it in a breadbasket.
Well, isn't he ever? Here's Larry Walker now to test his fate against Maddox. First pitch, outside, ball 1. So 2 of the first 3 batters, a ball.
They better get somebody up in the bullpen.
I think he's tiring already. This one ripped foul by Walker and up into the seats. 1-1 to walk.
See, Larry just had a great game plan there to take him the other way, but he had a pitch to hit and fouled it off. You don't get very many to hit against Greg, so you better not miss it when you get one.
Walker just 1 for his last 8, but that one a home run. That one squibbed down the line and foul, and it's 1-2 now. Walker with 43 home runs, which leads the National League. His batting average, excuse me, Dave, is also 2 points higher than Gwynn's.
Hit one earlier this year off Maddox here in this ballpark.
Got him looking. Larry Walker has been called out on strikes 3 at-bats in a row, and he hasn't agreed with 1 call. So Maddox retires the Rockies in order. The Braves are coming up. Well, the Rockies go in order in their half of the first inning. The Braves coming up. Atlanta has won 4 games in a row. They had a terrific road trip to the West Coast where they went 5-1. John Thompson getting the start for the Rockies tonight. The big red-headed right-hander, 7-8 on the year, his 24th start. The lineup that he'll face, brought to you by the Rocky Mountain News. Leading off for the Braves will be Kenny Lofton, acquired in the offseason from the Cleveland Indians, actually right before the season began after spring training. Then Michael Tucker, also an early season acquisition, followed by Chipper Jones. He is swinging the hottest bat for the Braves. Then McGriff, Klesko, Blauser, Perez, Graffinino, and Maddox.
John Thompson, he is 7-8, 4.36, 1-0 lifetime against the Braves. He had the no decision here in the brilliant ball game he pitched. He is making his 24th start.
So John Thompson, who really pitched well here at Turner Field, as we outlined in our open, will go after Kenny Lofton. Lofton has spent some time on the DL this year with a groin injury. In fact, he was not in that lineup against Thompson the first time around. The first pitch from John is over for a strike. So Thompson taking a page out of Greg Maddox's book with that first pitch strike.
Of course, by shortening to bunt, he's got Vinny playing way in to begin with. Then he'll try to inside out the ball right past him.
Another strike. That caught the inside edge. 2 quick strikes on Lofton. Now Vinny can back up a couple of steps.
Yeah, and Mike Winters has to call that pitch. If he's going to give it to Greg Maddox, he's going to have to give it to John Thompson as well. He called Larry Walker out on the same pitch.
Something tells me, Dave, we're in for a special evening here, pitching-wise. Slapped into left. Dante charging, but he'll have to play it on a hop. A 2-strike lead single for Lofton.
Well, that's that inside-out stroke that Kenny Lofton's got down as good as anybody in the game. Normally, when he gets on base, he reaps havoc.
Well, you saw Bichette, again, our graphics department, Johnny on the spot as they highlight Dante, who makes the first play. Then Burks and Walker in center and right. Castillo, Weiss, Perez, and Galarraga around that infield with a battery of Manwaring and Thompson. The defense brought to you by refreshing Coca-Cola. Here is Michael Tucker. Boy, he started the season great for the Braves. He was hitting well over 400. But Tucker has gone into a slide. You see his average now down to 274. Lofton took a step, came back as the pitch is fouled out of play.
Now, Kenny Lofton, a combination of things. Early in the season, Brad Osmus of Houston really started to destroy his confidence running. He threw him out 5 times early. He has stolen 23 but he's been caught 20 times, the most in the National League. His percentage is terrible, but the groin is feeling a little better.
Thompson comes to the plate on a pitch out, and nothing doing for Lofton. It's 1-1 now to Tucker. To outline Tucker's struggles lately, since the 11th of July, he's hitting just 199. His average has dropped all the way from 307 to where it is now, 274 over that stretch. And Andrew Jones has been playing more lately.
Kind of backwards for Tucker this year. Throughout his early career, he had been a much better second half hitter, just the opposite this year.
1 ball, 1 strike to Michael Tucker with Lofton on at first. No score, first inning. Glad you could join us on the Rockies Baseball Network. Again, slapped out of play by Michael Tucker.
Tucker is generally a pretty good fastball hitter. He has a quick bat. What people started to do to him was pound him in to try to speed up his bat and then go with a lot of breaking balls, and that's one of the things that caused him to go into this slump.
John Thompson ahead of Tucker, 1-2, but he was ahead of Lofton, 0-2, and Lofton had the single to left field. Again, the toss back to first. Lofton jumping back in safe. The Braves, they lead their division by 6.5 games over the Florida Marlins. The Marlins right now would be the wild card team from the National League. Just missed inside, and it's 2-2. The Braves have won 10 of 13, 15 of their last 20, and in those 20 games, the Braves have hit 31 home runs, so they're starting to put it together. And I guess you're putting it together for if you're a Braves fan at the right time. It's playoff time just around the corner. Let's see if Lofton's going 2-2. He's not, and the pitch is hit high in the air to left center field, playable for Bichette. He calls off Burks and makes the catch. And Lofton retreats to first base.
Now, Michael Tucker, a good fastball hitter, never did catch up with John Thompson's fastball. He fouled 2 off to the left and couldn't get around on that one.
What does that tell you about Thompson's fastball?
He's got a good one right now. Kenny Lofton, he just bit off too much of the plate with that 0-2 pitch, and Lofton was able to pull the arms out and shove it the other way.
So now Chipper Jones with Lofton still at first base and 1 out. Jones over his last 10 games hitting .359. His average up over 300 now. Lofton again not going, and this pitch is fouled straight back.
Well, I'll tell you, John has really got a great quick slide step to the plate. That's going to make it tough for Lofton to steal. John Thompson, Jamie Wright has improved immeasurably in that particular area. Boy, if you give the catcher a chance, you're going to slow down that running game some.
You see the numbers on Jones so far this year as he looks in the 0-1 pitch. Manwaring setting up inside. The fastball goes high and wide, and it's 1-1.
Kenny Lofton's confidence is at the point right now, I think, unless a pitcher is about 1.4 or 1.5 seconds to the plate, he may not run very much. John Thompson, just to the naked eye, looks like he's about a 1-1 to 1-2 in his delivery time to the plate.
And again, a toss back to first base to keep Lofton honest. Lofton last year, Dave, had 75 stolen bases for the Indians. And this year, as you mentioned, thanks to the groin injury, mostly, he has just 23 in the National League. And again, not going, and this pitch driven to left field. Dante going back, and near the warning track, he hauls this one in. Everything hit to Dante Bichette from these left-handed batters.
Well, that was a Braves scouting report. Find Dante. No. You know, the thing Lofton forgot is when he came from the American League to the National League. In the National League, the bases are 95 feet apart, and in the American League, they're only 90. So, if you believe that, I got some land out in eastern Colorado that I'd like to sell you at a very expensive price.
I was going to say, but this really is a pitcher's league, and those bases further apart. Now you see Lofton. Career percentage at 79%. It was, as Dave pointed out, not nearly that much this year. It's almost a 50% rate. And again, a pitch out. Not a good one from Thompson. A good thing Lofton wasn't going.
Manwaring looked like a signalman on an aircraft carrier there trying to land a plane. Golly, if you're going to throw a pitch out, at least give your catcher a chance, if he catches it, to throw somebody out.
Thompson, who loves pitching in the South, of course, he grew up in Sulphur, Louisiana, so he likes this heat and humidity. This one fouled out of play, and again, McGriff late on the fastball. So John Thompson just throwing some heat at these Braves. You see the numbers on McGriff. He has struggled from a power standpoint this year, just 21 home runs. That's off his normal pace. Last year he hit 28.
Actually, from June on, from last year, he had 14 the first 2 months and then only 14 the second half. So beginning about June a year ago, he only has 35 home runs in a year and a half, and that is unusual because Fred had gone through 7 consecutive years of hitting 30 or more.
McGriff, an RBI machine, too. 107 last year, 87 this year, despite having, by his standards, an offseason. Kind of reminds you a little bit, doesn't he, of a Joe Carter, a guy that's been traded around quite a bit, but yet very productive?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, every year Joe's batting average goes down just a little bit. You can see some slippage, but not a major drop-off.
There goes Lofton this time on a breaking ball. The throw down to second, not in time. So Lofton picked the right pitch to go. It's called a strike, and it's 1-2 to McGriff.
Well, Kenny got a pretty good jump, had the right pitch to run on. And again, that groin is starting to feel better. Good break. Manwaring's throw high, but I think even a perfect throw, I don't know if they'd have gotten him. Perfect throw, nope, Lofton's hand's already on the base when the ball arrived.
So now Manwaring going out to tell Thompson, all right, let's concentrate on McGriff here. 2 outs and a 1-2 count on Crime Dog.
Yeah, you got an open base, but you got Ryan Klesko next. Both McGriff and Klesko have been swinging the bats well in the last 10 days. So once you got a guy 1 and 2, go after him. Don't be pitching around to get to the next guy.
The Braves at 91 and 54, the best record in baseball. Their magic number now 12 with 17 games to go. The 1-2 pitch to McGriff, ripped into right field. Walker charging. He's got a chance. Here comes a throw to the plate, and they've got him. Manwaring tags him out, and a great throw from Larry Walker. That ball hit so hard by McGriff. Walker charging. He had Lofton by a couple of steps.
Well, Larry Walker, another reason why he gets our vote for the MVP. He can beat you 5 different ways. Crime Dog goes down and rips a low fastball over Napie's head. Watch Walker handle the tough in-between hop here. It comes up on him. He rights the ship, makes the perfect throw, and Manwaring blocks off Kenny Lofton. What a great play. And we showed you highlights of a game earlier here this year when Andrew Jones threw out Dante Bichette, a key play in that game. We'll see how this one manifests itself.
Well, Galarraga swings at the first pitch of the second inning and bounces it to Blauser. Galarraga out number 1.
Pick up a free Rockies commemorative poster where you buy original Coors. Poster, the 3rd in the series, available for a limited time. No purchase necessary. You must be 21 years of age.
You almost get the sense you're at Coors Field here at Turner Field. It has some resemblance to Coors Field in Denver, although I don't think as nice, but they've done a nice job with this former Olympic Stadium.
A lot of bricks, and doesn't have the nooks and crannies, but it's a nice ballpark.
Yeah, it is. Dante goes after the first pitch, and he bounces to McGriff. Maddox covering. 2 pitches, 2 gone.
Part of that good defensive alignment by the Braves. McGriff playing about 35 feet off the line, and Dante hit it right to him. The Braves have the most radical defense in baseball, but they have one advantage. They have a pitching staff that can pitch to the defense. And you can get all these advanced scouting reports you want, and the Rockies certainly do that with Don Gladden, but if your pitchers don't throw the ball to the batter's weaknesses or the way they've set the defense, it all goes for naught.
All right, Dave, here's a first pitch fastball hitter, Vinny Castilla. How does Maddox go after him?
He's going to throw him a first pitch fastball probably, and probably keep it about 2 to 3 inches outside.
Like there?
Yeah. See, Maddox studies statistics. He knows who all the first ball hitters are. First ball fastball hitters, he'll throw them a first ball fastball, but he'll throw it about 4 inches off the plate and let them get themselves out.
Vinny goes after the slider and fouls it out of play. So it's 1-1 to Vinny Castilla. Vinny has made him throw 2 pitches in this at-bat.
Now, not only is Maddox a technician on the mound, but he studies the game. He studies statistics. He wants every little edge he can have.
Maybe it should come as no surprise then that Maddox struggled a bit against the American League.
Well, maybe they had American League umpires. That time Mike Winters didn't give him the strike, and there were a lot of groans in the stands. That was a pitch he usually gets.
Off the end of the bat, tough hop for Graffinino. He handles it. 3 ground ball outs for Greg Maddox. The professor is schooling the Rockies right now. 6 up, 6 down so far for Colorado. No score.
This day in baseball history is brought to you by McDonald's. 1972, 25 years ago, Nolan Ryan struck out 15 in 9 innings as the Angels shut out the Texas Rangers, who Ryan later pitched for, 3-0. Nolan Ryan, one of 13 pitchers in Major League history who has struck out 300 or more batters in a season. Ryan's done it 6 times. Sandy Koufax did it 3. Curt Schilling needs 4 more to become the 14th pitcher to strike out 300, and he'll get that in his next start in all likelihood.
No score as we head to the bottom of the 2nd inning. Bobby Cox's club online again for another outstanding show in postseason, leading the Eastern Division. Cox said it would mean a lot if we could just go ahead and wrap this thing up in about the next week or so. That way I can set up my pitching for postseason. The Braves, the start of an 11-game homestand for them. A fastball. He just blew that one right by Klesko.
Ryan had a cortisone shot on Sunday and took a couple days off. He came back and hit a home run against the Dodgers on Wednesday. He's been swinging a little better lately, but 117 strikeouts has him ranked number 6 in the National League.
Hitting just .210 over his last 105 at-bats, but that sore wrist has really been troubling him. Another foul out of play by Klesko, and quickly 2 strikes on him. Now Maddox, for all of his Cy Young and everything, we showed you Nolan Ryan striking out 15 on this day in baseball history. Maddox, the most he's ever struck out in a game, 11. Thompson, the most he's ever struck out in a game, 8. So neither pitcher really at this point in their career strikeout pitchers. Maddox never will be. Thompson may later. This one flared, and if it stays fair, it's trouble, and it's a foul ball.
Just talking about the dominance of the Atlanta Braves, this is going to be their 7th consecutive year that they are going to finish with a winning record. That's tops in Major League Baseball. Kind of pales by comparison to the New York Yankees, 1926 to 64, but you see their numbers. The Braves since 1990. They are 1 game shy of 200 games over 500. And if you get rid of 1990, they are 241 games over the 500 break-even point.
Well, the Yankees had a streak of 12 straight years from 47 through 58 where they had 90 or more wins. And in this, you kind of have to put an asterisk by it because the Braves in 1994 did not have more than 90 wins, but that was the year of the strike, so Bobby Cox's club really had no shot at it. That was the season when ball players struck August the 12th, and the rest of the season was wiped out. So we kind of wipe out that year. The Orioles also had 6 consecutive years if you throw out the 81 strike year from 77 through 82. The Braves, though, the first team from the National League to do it since the Brooklyn Dodgers, 51 through 56.
Yeah, but you go back to the Yankees, 1926 to 64, 39 consecutive winning years. Next closest, Baltimore had a string beginning in the late 60s. They had 18 consecutive winning seasons.
Don Baylor was on a few of those clubs.
Indeed, he was indeed. Earl Weaver.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Klesko's. Spoiled a couple of Thompson pitches. Here comes another one. Oh, that looked good. Manwaring tried to frame it. Didn't get the call, and it's 2-2.
Of course, the Yankees in those days had some pretty great farm teams. They were called the Boston Red Sox and Philadelphia Athletics. They kept picking up players from them all the time. That's a pretty good pitch. I don't know how Klesko laid off it to begin with.
So the 2-2 offering misses, and now a full count to Klesko.
First time John Thompson's gone to a 3-ball count in this ballpark in 2 starts.
Frank Funk and Don Baylor hoping that Thompson can match Greg Maddox pitch for pitch here tonight. He worked around a couple of singles in the first, helped out by Larry Walker. High fly ball, deep right center field. Walker and Burks giving chase, and Ellis Burks calls off Larry Walker and makes the catch. Klesko got under that one just a little bit.
Sometimes tough to communicate at Coors Field out in right center field. When a visiting player hits it, you can hear, but with all the crowd noise behind him, there was a little confusion between Larry and Ellis, but finally Larry heard Ellis call it off, and it is the center fielder's ball. It's just kind of an axiom in baseball. If either one of them can get it, it is the center fielder that gets it, unless there has to be a critical throw made. Then you'd let Larry Walker have it.
Here's Blauser. Blauser also was hitting over 400 once upon a time this season. His average still a very respectable 301, but not hitting in the lofty standards he once enjoyed back in April and May. Blauser, in fact, over his last 10 games, hitting just 206. That was a nice change of pace, a change up from John Thompson over for a strike, and it's 1-1. Another good pitch from Thompson, a slider that time, and it's 1-2 to Jeff. Blauser's been a Brave longer than any other guy in Atlanta. In 1984, he was a draft pick of the Braves. Free agent at the end of this season. He'd like to stay here if he could. Down the line, fair past Galarraga, right off the end of Blauser's bat. Walker hustling in, and he'll hold Blauser to a single. That's the respect these Braves have for Walker's arm.
Veteran move by Jeff Blauser. With one out, that's when you're going to try to stretch it into a double, but he has already seen Larry Walker's arm today. Larry got over to that ball just as Blauser was rounding first, and unless Walker threw a ball into the Rockies dugout, he was going to be out at second base. Right down the line, but watch Larry close ground on it. Surround it. He looked like he was going to grab it and make the spin move. He almost confused himself there.
And now here comes the personal valet for Greg Maddux, Eddie Perez. Perez 0 for his last 20. But wouldn't you know it, a base hit up the middle. Blauser will stop at second. Back-to-back hits by Blauser and Perez, and the Braves have something going here in the second.
Well, John's throwing first pitch strikes, but he's getting a few too many in the middle of the plate. So that ball was right down the heart. And when you're struggling like Eddie Perez is, you're not going to be taking very much. You're going to be hacking at the first thing you see.
Well, that's the thing about Maddux, too, Dave. We always talk about his control and how he throws first pitch strikes, but rarely are they in the middle of the plate.
You know, one of the interesting stats is if you look over the numbers at the end of each year, usually in the top 20 of first ball hitters, there's usually at least 6 or 7 catchers. And I think for the reason of that is they realize the value of getting ahead in the count. So a lot of catchers go up and hack at the first thing they see.
Here's Graffinino. Fastball at the knees just a little bit low, and it's 1-0.
Joe Girardi, when he was with the Rockies, he was one of the most notorious first ball hitters. Eddie Perez, again, when you're hitting below 150 over your last 75, 80 at-bats, you're not going to be taken very much.
You were talking with the Braves broadcasters about Mark Lemke before the game. What's the status on him?
They think he probably will play very sparingly on this 11-game homestand they're starting tonight, but they hope to get him back the last week of the season when they go on the road for 6. They want to get him ready. He's got a very bad ankle sprain. Derek Bell of Houston rolled over the ankle on a double play ball. 2-0
to Graffinino, and there's a strike. 2 on, 1 out, second inning, no score.
Well, the team that leads the major leagues in double plays hasn't turned one in their last 2 games. About time for one of those 6-4 threes.
Absolutely. Maddux due up next. There's Blauser at second. Eddie Perez, the catcher, on at first. The 2-1 pitch is hit foul wide of third, so it's 2-2.
I didn't mean to be so choosy. We would have taken a 5-4-3 or a 5-3 double play too.
3-6-3. 1-6-3.
Yeah.
Any of those.
4-6-3.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, 2 on. Braves trying to win their 5th straight. The Rockies, they've been hot. They've won 12 of the last 14. Could be a 5-4-3. Vinny to Nafee. He drops the ball. They get the out at second. The out recorded at second base. Nafee trying to transfer to his throwing hand, dropped the ball.
Well, that one hurts because it extends the inning. That's the first time Nafee's had trouble with the ball on the pivot since he's played second base that we've seen. But now you get Maddox up in the inning, and even if you get Maddox out, you look at Vinny backhand, he gives Nafee a pretty solid throw, but Nafee reaching in just didn't get it. Eddie Perez trying to buy the safe sign at second, but according to second base umpire Joe West, he was in the process of throwing. It was kind of a close one.
Not an error on the play. You cannot assume a double play. But now runners at the corners for Maddox, who is a good hitter. He hits this one in the air, though. He pops it up to right center. Larry Walker camping under it, and that will do it. So Thompson pitches out of the jam. The Braves lead them stranded at first and third. 2 in the books. No score from Turner Field and Atlanta.
Braves have threatened each inning. Larry Walker threw out a man in the first, and John Thompson was able to retire Greg Maddox with 2 guys on in the second. Rockies haven't had a runner yet. Well, we invite you to finish out the '97 season with some great division rival baseball at Coors Field. The Giants in September 23rd and 24th. Then the Dodgers in for 4. The 25th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Tickets still available at all games. The Coors Field Ticket Office, King Soopers, any Rockies dugout store, or by calling 1-800-388-ROCK. Rockies obviously hoping for a miracle, but they're going to have a big say in who wins the Western Division title. Both teams, the Giants and Dodgers, tied for the top spot starting tonight.
Dodgers have lost 3 in a row. The Giants have won 2 straight. Rockies 7 back of both of them. Certainly it would be a miracle. In fact, a historical finish if the Rockies would come back and win the division and get in the playoffs. This one hit to Fred McGriff, and Maddox over to cover. 7 up, 7 down for the Rockies. The lead man retired here in the third.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you about Greg Maddox. In addition to everything else he does, 7 straight gold gloves on defense.
Well, he is the master tactician on the mound.
$57.5 million worth.
Yeah, not
Braves
bad.
signing him for 5 years.
If you are a young pitcher and you just want to watch a guy pitch, not throw, but pitch, watch Greg Maddox. He is the best model for you to follow if you want to watch a guy that just does every little thing. Well, there's the first base runner for the Rockies as Nafee Perez slaps a single to left field. That'll get John Thompson up in a bunting situation.
Good job by Nafee. Good plan. Take him the other way. He's tough to pull. Yeah, Maddox, perfect fielding position on every delivery. Throws about 70 to 72% strikes. Attacks the leadoff hitter. Changes speeds. Gets his team off the field. He's good.
Yeah. He even hits well. He bunts well.
Yeah, his batting average down a little bit this year. But like all the Braves, they help themselves with the bat, running the bases, and especially bunting.
Perez trying to chase Perez back to the bag.
Of course, the Braves have tied up $136 million in 4 pitchers. Denny Nagel, Tom Glavine, John Smoltz, and Greg Maddox. But trust me, folks, they do everything to earn it. They not only are pitchers, they're great athletes. They help themselves. A lot of times I talk about how the Rocky pitchers, some of them don't get in fielding position. Watch how Greg Maddox gets in fielding position after he delivers the ball. He's perfectly squared off. So's Tom Glavine. So's Denny Nagel. The only guy maybe not is John Smoltz. But over the course of a season, they win about 6, 7, or 8 extra games just because of the little things they do.
Of those 4, Smoltz really the only power pitcher the Braves have. Thompson again squaring the bunt, bunts it foul, and it's 1-1 to John Thompson. Slim Hurdle examining the ball and now making it a souvenir. 1 ball, 1 strike, 3rd inning. Rockies have 3 in Atlanta, then 2 at Florida, 2 at San Diego, and they close out the road trip with 3 in Los Angeles.
San Francisco has a 1-0 lead over Florida in the 4th inning of that showdown series in Florida.
There goes Perez, and the ball is foul at the plate. Thompson got a piece of it. He's still running, but it's foul. So Perez Perez will retreat to first base, and it's 1-2 on John Thompson.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the ways you beat Greg Maddux. You go a little bit against the grain. If Maddux has one flaw, and he only has one that I've seen over the years, he has a very high leg kick, and he will give up the stolen bases. But Maddox's philosophy is, hey, if I get the hitters out, they're not going to score anyway. I don't care how many bases they steal. He had to have one flaw. He couldn't be totally perfect.
Not at all. So let's see what Don Baylor chooses to do. 1-2. He's going to let Thompson bunt, and he gets it down, and it's a good one. Maddox is only played first, and off the bag comes Graffinino. An error for Greg Maddux, the 7-time Gold Glove winner, and you can tell he is not happy with himself.
Little too casual on that. He kind of came in and took his time, and I think Thompson, you see him talking to himself. He is really upset with himself. Right there, you see Perez pointing, but he just was very casual and then made a high throw, and a good call by the first base umpire, Angel Hernandez. Maddux can let loose a diatribe after he's had a mistake.
So the Rockies get a kiss from the Angel at first base, and now they have runners at first and second, and just one out for Walt Weiss.
To say that you have to take advantage when he makes a mistake is an understatement.
Weiss looks at strike one. Walter popped out to center field his first time up. You can see what he has done over the last 10 days. And if you add in his on-base percentage, it is unbelievable. Walt Weiss has been drawing a lot of walks in the lead role and really has been getting on quite often. Tough to get a walk against Maddux, though. Slap the other way, but foul wide of third, and it's 2 strikes now on Walt Weiss.
Third error charged to Maddux this year, and Weiss's on-base percentage since he took over for Eric Young in the leadoff spot, a lusty 481. How does that compare? If it were over the entire season, he would lead the National League.
Oh, no question about it. The on-base percentage leader right now is Larry Walker at 456 in the National League. Tap back to Maddux. Let's see if he can help himself out here with the double play. He does. So Maddux makes an error and then comes right back and doubles up Walt Weiss. So Maddux gets out of it with the help of a double play, and Kenny Lofton will be leading off for the Braves.
Take a look at our minor league report brought to you by US West. The Portland Rockies won the Northwest League Championship 4-2 over Boise on Wednesday night. It is the final team, I believe, of the Rockies in postseason play in the minor league. So congratulations to the Portland Rockies.
Well, there's the Coca-Cola bottle sitting way out there in the Coca-Cola Pavilion up in the third deck beyond left field. Anybody hits it up there, it's $1 million, right?
Yeah, and do you realize it's $3 million tonight because the Braves go over $3 million in attendance tonight. That entire bottle is made out of baseball bats strung together. So it's just another little feature here at Turner Field in Atlanta, a nice playing surface, and the Braves will go over the $3 million mark tonight. Pick up a free Rockies season commemorative poster where you buy Coors Light. The poster is the third in the series and available for a limited time.
Dave and Dave with you from Turner Field in Atlanta. They are calling this place the Ted. John Thompson trying to duel Greg Maddux tonight. Thompson has given up 2 hits in each of the first 2 innings, but has survived so far. No score.
No nicknames for Coors Field yet, except I thought maybe they were going to name it McGuire Field after Mark went in and put on a display there for 4 days, including batting practice with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Kenny Lofton to lead off. He led off with a single his first time up. A single with an 0-2 count, and you can see he has punished the Rockies this year. Goes after the first pitch and grounds it to Neifi Perez. Thompson slipped on the mound after that pitch. Lofton retired, 1 gone in the Braves' third.
Always good to keep Kenny off base because, as John Flaherty, the Detroit catcher, has once said, Kenny Lofton is a 9-inning nightmare, and that's when he gets on bases, he just disrupts everything.
Like Ricky Henderson used to, and still does from time to time.
See what happened to John here. Ooh, that front leg gave way a little bit. Appears to be okay, though.
Now setting his sights on Michael Tucker. He tries to bunt his way aboard. Thompson's got it. Throw to first. No! Tucker beats it out.
Not a great bunt by Tucker, but it stayed about halfway between Manwaring and Thompson. Had John been able to throw him out, that would have been 2 pitches and 2 outs, but Tucker beat it. He didn't really try to bunt it straight out there, but look where that ball comes, just about halfway, and it was close, but Tucker, with that great speed, beat it out.
So Tucker has been struggling offensively, decides to bunt his way aboard here in the 3rd. That's the 5th hit for the Braves. All singles. Chipper Jones flied to left his first time up. He's up there now. Tucker aboard, getting the lead at first base.
Now the Rockies are going to see the best the Braves have to offer this weekend. Maddox, Denny Nagel, a 20-game winner, and John Smoltz on Sunday. And the Rockies will counter with Roger Bailey and Pedro Estacio, the guys that have been pitching the best for the Rockies this year, those 3.
Doesn't get much easier when we head to Florida. Al Leiter goes through a no-hitter against the Rockies on Monday for the Marlins, and then Alex Fernandez, whom the Marlins acquired in the offseason from the White Sox, will be pitching on Tuesday. Tonight, though, it's Thompson and Maddox. Manwaring setting up inside, and the pitch fouled back by Chipper Jones. To give you the indication of what Chipper has done in his career here in a Braves uniform, he is the first Braves third baseman with over 100 RBIs in consecutive seasons since Eddie Matthews in 1959 and 60.
Amazing thing about Chipper is he came in and became a leader on this club his rookie year. He just has that type of personality. Usually you come in and let the veterans lead.
There goes Tucker. Pitch for Manwaring to handle, but Tucker beats it easily. No chance for Manwaring.
Well, either the Braves are stealing signs or they're picking awfully good pitches to run on. That was another off-speed pitch, and both times they've run, it's been an off-speed pitch. Tucker running with his head down, not looking. I totally disagree with that philosophy, but he gets away with it. But all you can do is get faked out by the infielders if the ball's hit. You've got to look back. Why guys don't do it is totally beyond my comprehension.
12 steals for Tucker. He's been caught 6 times. He's at second now with 1 out. And a 2-1 count on Chipper Jones. No score, 3rd inning. The Braves have won 7 straight here at Turner Field. Good slider, and it's over for a strike, and it's 2-2.
Braves got off at the beginning of the year 12-1 at home, and everybody's going, wow, what a great home field advantage. Then all of a sudden they staggered through the middle part of the season. Now they're starting to feel more comfortable in their own digs, but they still have a better record on the road than they do at home.
47-27 away from home, 43-27 here. Maybe they can turn that record around with this 11-game homestand. Of course, it's going to be tough for them to do that when they start off 0-3 on the homestand if the Rockies get through with them.
I like your optimism.
The 2-2 pitch. Ooh, just missed inside. So it's 3-2 to Chipper Jones. On deck, Fred McGriff. He singled his first time up. The Braves already with 91 wins, on a pace for 102 victories this year. The 3-2 pitch outside. So runners at first and second again. The Braves have had a couple of base runners every inning.
Yeah, this is going to take its toll over the course of the game on John Thompson, and especially with Greg Maddox pitching. John knows how important it is to save every run. Larry Walker gave him a huge assist back in the first inning.
That's when he threw out Kenny Lofton trying to score from second on McGriff's single. So McGriff up there again, a double play candidate, but also a guy that can give the Braves a 3-0 lead.
leads the National League in bouncing into twin killings, and the Rockies lead the major leagues in turning double plays. I like the odds, except for one thing. Fred's been swinging a hot bat the last week and a half.
Yes, he has. 179 twin killings for the Rockies this year. And this one up the middle to Napey. Taylor made. DeWeit's for one. The relay got him by 5 steps. So Fred McGriff hits into the double play. John Thompson helped out again by the defense. 3 in the books. And we're tied at 0. This day in Rockies history brought to you by Chrysler, Dodge, and Jeep Eagle. Well, it was this date last year. Ellis Burke stole base number 30 to become the first player in Rockies history to be a 30-30 guy, 30 home runs and 30 stolen bases, the 19th player in baseball history. It is 37th home run with 2 on in the first inning off losing pitcher John Smoltz. The Rockies won 16-8. So here's Burks to lead off the 4th, and now batting leadoff for us, Dave Campbell.
Ellis ahead, 1 ball, no strikes. He struck out his first time up. He actually got ahead of Maddox 2-0. And check swing there, but not enough. 1-1. Ellis with 28 homers. If he reaches the 30 plateau, that'll give the Blake Street Bombers 4 guys with 30 for the 3rd year in a row.
Might be 5. Dante needs 6.
Well, that would be a first in Major League history then. See Perez set up outside the plate, and Ellis, that ball was on the corner, 1-2.
And don't forget Galarraga closing in on 40 along with Vinny Castilla. Vinny has 39, the Cat 36, and Galarraga already licking his chops, getting ready to go to Pro Player Stadium in Miami.
Just low, 2-2. By my count, Maddox has not had 1 pitch in the middle of the plate tonight. Not 1. That was about as hittable a pitch as you're going to see, and Ellis fouled it off. It's a good thing Maddox gives to charity, because everything else he does, he's very stingy. Just missed. 3-2. Greg, one of those guys who gives every bit of endorsement money he makes to charity, but you don't hear too much about it because he doesn't want people to know it. Ellis had another pretty good pitch to hit. It was middle up. 3-2 the count remains. Maddox goes to his first 3-ball count tonight.
Maddox has only walked 19 this year. All year.
And Ellis hacks it foul again.
That's in 213 2/3 innings, 19 walks.
A couple of years ago, he pitched 256 innings and walked the leadoff man in an inning 4 times. And Ellis fouls it off again. So a good at bat by Ellis Burks. This will be the 8th pitch coming from Greg Maddox.
That's usually what he needs to get out of an inning. Look at the nice crowd here at Turner Field, as Dave mentioned. The 3 millionth fan on hand here tonight.
Ellis to left field, but I don't think he got enough of it. Ryan Klesko over, circles and grabs. And Maddox made a mistake. In fact, he made a couple of them to Ellis, but he just wasn't going to walk him.
Well, to know what's going on in Denver's high school sports, read the paper that does. Rocky Preps every Thursday in the Rocky Mountain News. If you live here, you get it. Call 1-800-892-NEWS.
Walker struck out his first time up as Maddox pounded him in with the last 2 strikes. There's the ball, 1-0. Lifetime numbers against Larry, or for Larry against Greg. Ball's hit the left, but playable again for Klesko, and he's got it for the 2nd out. Rockies have had a 1 base runner. 2 actually, but 1 got under in there.
hard to get good wood off Maddox.
Yeah. Well, he just doesn't throw the ball in the middle of the plate.
No.
He gave Ellis about as many good pitches as you'd want to see, and that's because he went 3-2 on a leadoff man and wasn't going to walk him.
And you rarely, if ever, see a pitch that just comes in straight from Maddox. His fastball has movement on it, all his other pitches, and he can throw everything for a strike.
Chopper to second, and this is going to do it. Big Cat, second ground out of the evening, and Greg Maddox just makes it look easy. We go to the bottom of the fourth. No score.
Well, we thought it would be a pitcher's duel, and so far we have gotten what we advertised. John Thompson has been struggling a little bit, but getting the Braves in key situations, and we have no score going to the bottom of the fourth. Rockies baseball brought to you by Domino's Pizza. For hot and wow, call Domino's now. A good time for it back home.
Ryan Klesko steps in. He hit a fly ball to Ellis Burks his first time up. Klesko's had a variety of physical ailments this year, mostly back and wrist. His numbers have not been up to his usual, and he fouls this ball out of play. This guy does not get cheated. He takes a big-time hack.
We were talking earlier about Mark McGwire of the St. Louis Cardinals. He went over 50 home runs again a couple of days ago. Only the second man in baseball history to have consecutive 50 home run seasons. The other, Babe Ruth, and he did it twice.
Bambino. Klesko hammers this ball hard to center field, and it is gone. A rising rocket out of here, and the Braves get on the board first.
For Ryan Klesko, his 23rd home run of the year. He hit the ball well his first time up, but just missed it. He didn't miss this one. Look at the full extension on that swing. Klesko with that laser shot out of here to straightaway center. Almost hit our camera.
I think Big Bluto was posing a little bit at home plate on that follow through. Here is Blauser. He had a hit his first time up, and Thompson behind 1-0.
That's something you never saw from players of your era. That big pose after the home run.
Yeah, the first guy I saw do it actually was Herman Killebrew.
Really?
Yeah, he just kind of watched it. He'd stand at home plate and watch it.
He was so big and mean, though, and nobody'd knock him down.
You know what? Everybody thought Herman was big. He's wide. But I guarantee you, if Herman Killebrew's 5'9", I'd be surprised.
Just had those big forearms.
Oh, boy, did he.
Man.
And then Reggie kind of put a...
Yeah.
Reggie became the king of the style. 2-1 to Blauser.
And now it's pretty accepted.
Yeah, by some people.
By some pitchers. Not all, but...
Danny Darwin doesn't like it, but he's a throwback. Danny Darwin's 40 years old. If you style on him, you're going to be biting dust next time up. And it's 3-1 to Blauser. Well, John Thompson wiggled off the hook 3 times. He had 2 men on base in each of the first, second, and third innings. And he held the Braves scoreless, but Klesko hit a bomb out of here to put him on the board. Blauser fouls it back and out of play, 3-2.
The Braves have the second best home record in the National League. The best, the Florida Marlins, and that's where we're heading next.
3-2 to Blauser. And a strike called by the home plate umpire, Mike Winters. So John Thompson comes back in the 3-1 count to strike Blauser out.
His first strikeout of the game for John Thompson. Good pitching here. Blauser was looking for something out over the plate, and John paints inside.
90% of right-handed hitters are going to protect away when they get 2 strikes. If you can bury that fastball into their hands, you get a pretty good chance of getting them out. Here's Eddie Perez, who had a single in the second inning. And Eddie, again, we talked about those catchers being first ball hackers. He is definitely one of them.
He almost threw his back out with that swing. He's got a nice job, doesn't he? Works every fifth day.
He had a little more playing time when Javier Lopez had a small break in his thumb after the All-Star break.
His job is kind of equivalent to being like a punter on a football team. I mean, you don't play all the time. You just get in there. Of course, he's got his uniform dirty, though.
Yeah, if you're a catcher, it's a little tougher.
Yeah, it is.
Eddie fouls it off on the third base side. 1 run, 6 hits, an error for the Braves. No runs, 1 hit, no errors for the Rockies. Nafi Perez had a single back in the 3rd inning. And then Greg Maddux committed an error, but Walt Weiss banged into a double play, and that was the one and only Rockies threat. They've gone 3 up, 3 down the other 3 innings. Softly, I might add.
In fact, I'm trying to think if the Rockies have really hit one ball hard yet. Perez's single was a soft liner out to left field. That's really about it. Fly balls to left field, but they weren't really sharply hit.
And Perez has his 2nd hit of the evening. So Eddie comes breaking out of an 0 for 20 with a 2 for 2 tonight.
This is 1 for 29, 0 for 20, 2 for 2 now. And his average goes up over 300 against the Rockies this year. Well, the Braves have dominated this series with Colorado 40-16, especially starting off in '93. That was a real tough year for the Rockies against the Braves, and that's one of the things that makes the Braves so good. They beat up on teams that they should beat, and the Rockies early on, an expansion club, were a team they should have beaten. Rockies are starting to come back against the Braves, and they don't feel as intimidated as they once were back in '93 and '94.
Yeah, the one thing the Rockies have to borrow a page from the Braves on is exactly what you were talking about. When they get clubs like the Phillies and the Mets, not a great team. Pirates, not a great team. The last 2 years, they've had losing records against those clubs. And Rockies seem to get up for the great teams, but have a little trouble seeming to focus. This ball past Manwaring, and we'll wait for the scoring, but down to 2nd base goes Eddie Perez.
And that takes away the double play and puts a runner in scoring position. See the pitch from Thompson. Most likely that'll be a passed ball.
Yeah, I think Kurt was thinking about trying to frame it and then saw the sink on the ball and was a little late getting the glove down. Sometimes catcher just puts down one finger for a fastball and they have enough confidence that they can catch the cross-seamer or the sinker. But that time, that ball had a little more sink than Manwaring thought. Graffinino hits a little nubber foul, 1-2. For a half hour earlier tomorrow night, it'll be a 5 o'clock start in the Rocky Mountain region. Denny Nagel pitches against Roger Bailey. San Francisco still leading Florida 1-0. I believe that game is in the 5th or 6th. Boy, the scoreboard's very difficult to read here. Long ways out and the numbers aren't too clear. Fouled off, and I do have my glasses on.
It is 1-0 in the top of the 6th inning. 3rd inning at the Astrodome, the Dodgers and Houston. That's scoreless. That's a hat, huh? She said, "Oh no, my hat got on TV." Oh no. I didn't want anybody to see me with this hat.
Yeah, she's a Vogue model too. Graffinino turns on an inside pitch, and the count holds at 1-2. Nice play by a youngster.
Yeah. Look at my hat.
Oh. One girl in the blue blouse saying, I don't want to catch that thing. Save me, save me. Perez at second, 1-2 on Graffinino, and John got him with a slider. I think the pitch that set it up was that fastball inside before. Here's Maddux, who hit a fly ball to Walker his first time up.
Maddux hitting under 100 this year. Well, here's the pitch to Graffinino. Slider down and away, and Graffinino, as Dave mentioned, that fastball in, so he's now protecting it. And he sees that thing coming towards the inside part of the plate, and he thinks, oh, I got to turn on this. And then he can't catch up.
Breaking ball strike to Maddox. Klesko led off with a homer, and that broke a scoreless tie here in the 4th inning. Foul off, a broken bat for Maddox. Now the Atlanta Braves, when they score first, and mainly because of their great pitching, are 67-19. If they score 4 runs or more, they're 72-17. But the amazing one, Dave, is if they score 3 runs or less, it's 19-37. And the Rockies
1-41.
1-41. Which just goes to prove you got pitching, you always have a chance. Offense is going to have slumps.
Team ERA for the Braves, 3.18. Team ERA.
The 0-2 to Maddox. He got him with a slider. So Thompson strikes out. The final 2 in the inning, he strikes out the side, but Ryan Klesko hit a home run to give the Braves the lead.
Time now for a little trivia brought to you by the Colorado Lottery Cash 5. Which 4-time batting champion appeared in 3 postseasons for teams that he joined in mid-season?
I got traded a couple of times mid-season.
Were you ever a batting champion?
No, not even in Little League. Here's Dante Bichette. I bet he was a batting champion in a few Little Leagues.
I'll bet he was.
He had a pitch to hit, but Maddox beat him. Nothing in 1.
I got to watch Dante play a little foosball tonight. I'd always heard about what a great foosball player he is. He made some shots on a guy that I never saw. I mean, he can control that ball on a foosball table, and then when he gets it into a scoring position, he just kind of toys with it, and all of a sudden you know it's coming, and he does a little quick flick of the wrist, and the ball's gone. You're like, where'd it go? It's in the goal. You can't even see it.
The hand is quicker than the eye.
I was amazed. I mean, he did it 4 different times, and I never saw the ball on any of the 4. Incredible. Standing nearby, and he said, who's that? He didn't know it was Dante Bichette. And I said, well, he's a world foosball champion. He said, I believe it.
Maddox just threw his first curveball of the night. Dante put his arms up, and luckily for Dante, it was low. Maddox had him fooled. He's gone about 80% fastball. Haven't seen a changeup tonight either. Fastball in the hands. Chipper Jones. Long throw across. 1 up, 1 down. Everybody talks about Maddox barely cracking 89 or 90 on the radar gun, but he just puts it in such good spots.
He does. Hey, Rocky fans, pick up the September issue of Rockies magazine. Features a look at the Rockies' young guns, including the pitcher tonight, John Thompson, along with Roger Bailey and Jamie Wright. 168-page magazine contains full-color photos of all the Rocky players. You can get your copy at Coors Field, any Rockies dugout store, or King Soopers.
He drops a breaking ball on Vinny for strike 1. Great pitch down and away. That one misses. A ball and a strike.
He's just playing now, isn't he? He's like, oh, let's work on the curveball for a while.
Yep. Changing his pattern 2nd time through the order.
Number of pitches, 53.
Pretty unusual,
yeah.
The strike ball ratio. A ball, 2-1. Looks like Mike Winters is not going to give him that pitch off the plate by much. Maddox has tested him a number of times, and the home plate umpire has not called it. 3-1 to Vinny Castilla, who has 2 lifetime homers against Greg Maddox. That's the most of any Rocky.
4 hits against Maddox, 2 home runs.
Well, up the middle, a base hit. Maddox challenged him with a fastball, and Vinny hit it solidly up the middle. 2nd hit for the Rockies. Here comes Manwaring.
The catcher, Manwaring.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Don Baylor play hit and run somewhere very early in this count. Manwaring a double play candidate. And one thing Don figures, hey, Manwaring's a ground ball hitter. I can open up some holes, and if the worst case scenario happens, he hits it on the ground, I'll advance Vinny to second.
He was telling us before the game, he said, I just can't stand double plays. Well, at first pitch, Vinny's going.
And on to second base goes Vinny. Don was saying the other day we were kidding him about the Richie Dower story, because Baylor's the one that relayed that to us about how Earl Weaver used to tell him, hey, Richie, if you feel like you're going to hit into a double play, strike out. The other night, Manwaring almost hit into a triple play. And I said to Don, now you got a new line from Manwaring. You feel like you're going to hit into a triple play, strike out. But Don moves the runner, and now the Braves have a decision to make with Nafi Perez up and the pitcher due next.
Perez singled his first time up.
And again, Nafi's a tough guy to pitch around with an open base. But he hits a fly ball routine to center, and that's going to do it. So Maddox gets the out. Rockies waste a hit. We go to the bottom of the fifth. It is 1-0 Atlanta.
Rockies baseball is brought to you by Bank One, the home of Rockies banking. Bank 1-to-1, member FDIC. By Domino's. For hot and wow, call Domino's now. By AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And by U.S. West. Life's better here.
John Thompson out to pitch the bottom of the fifth inning. Rockies on the south side of a 1-0 score. So Thompson knows he's going to have to keep the Braves as close to that one spot as you can with Greg Maddux pitching. He's got Lofton leading off, Michael Tucker, and then Chipper Jones. Checking the scoreboard, Houston has a 2-0 lead over the Dodgers. Chan-Ho Park going for L.A. tonight. And he, to me, right now, has got some of the best stuff in baseball. This guy is not a great stuff pitcher. He is just an absolute marvelous tactician with control. Greg Maddux telling Leo Mazzoni, you know, I'm throwing too many balls tonight. I don't know what's wrong. I mean, I've allowed 2 hits in 5 innings.
Throwing almost 60 pitches.
Gee.
What's my problem?
Strike to Lofton, 0-1. I think Maddux could go out and throw a 75-pitch no-hitter, perfect game, and he'd probably still say, oh, I was lucky I stunk tonight. That's the way he is.
He is so afraid of giving away any trade secrets.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people saying, well, you ought to put together a book or a video, and he said, no. I just don't want to give away any of my secrets. I hope he does it, though, after he's done playing.
Yeah, I do too. And I hope he makes instruction videos for young pitchers. Of course, if they do that and the young pitchers follow suit, eventually we'll have a batting champion that hits 180.
Yeah. This has really been more the year of the pitcher, though, hasn't it?
More so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Run scoring's down all around baseball. It's even down about 2 runs a game at Coors Field this year.
A few 20-game winners already and a chance for several more.
Yeah. Big Unit would have won 20 if he hadn't gone down. He's going to pitch tomorrow, and I think all of Seattle's kind of holding their breath on that one. David Cohen was going to throw on the side for the Yankees today. He's very important to the Yankees' postseason hopes. The 1-2 pitch to Lofton, and he has to skip rope to get out of the way. 2-2. They're in the 6th in Florida. San Francisco's made a pitching change, but Florida still trails 1-0. Lofton to center field. Ellis Burks, though, looks like he has it in range, has it in his glove, and that's one big out, keeping Kenny Lofton off base.
Second time that Thompson's gotten him. Well, the answer to our trivia question, brought to you by the Colorado Lottery Cash 5. 4-time batting champion that appeared in 3 postseasons for teams that he joined in mid-season. Bill Madlock did that. Went to the playoffs in '79 with the Pirates, in '85 with the Dodgers, and in 1987 with the Detroit Tigers. Cash 5 win $20,000 in a heartbeat.
Michael Tucker beat out a bunt his last time up, and out in front of the change from Thompson. No balls and a strike. Yankees putting the wood to Baltimore for the second night in a row, 8-1 in the third inning. They beat Baltimore last night 14-2.
Yankees kind of in that comfort zone. They're probably not going to catch Baltimore. They're 7.5 back going into tonight, but New York 8 ahead of Anaheim in the wild card chase.
I think the Yankees are also making a little statement to the Orioles, who went 7-1 against the Yankees to start off this season, that you're not going to dominate us all year. Yankees won 9 games at Camden Yards last year and lost none, and they're about ready to win their second as many nights. High routine fly, shallow center. Ellis going to get a chance and get another put out. 2 up, 2 down here in the 5th. So Ellis Burks ranging in center. He's caught everything out there tonight except for that ball Klesko hit. And the only person who could catch that one was somebody up in the aisleway in center field.
One thing with the Orioles, Dave, they're getting Eric Davis back. That's more of an emotional lift than anything else at this point. Of course, he is suffering from cancer and going through chemotherapy, but coming back with the Orioles. It's good to see him back in the game again and in uniform.
One of the things Davey Johnson was hoping to do was to wrap this thing up early enough that he could start resting some people like Brady Anderson and Jeffrey Hammonds. Alomar still trying to come back from a series of injuries. But the Yankees close ground. He's not going to be able to do that. Inside the chipper, 1-1. John Thompson has made solid pitches in the inning. Denny Nagel and Roger Bailey tomorrow. We're on the air at 5 o'clock Rocky Mountain time. Hope you'll join us on the Rockies Television Network and the WB Network. That's 2-1. The count to Chipper Jones. I wish I could do my Skip Carey impersonation and say Chipper Jones.
Chipper Jones?
Well, it's a lot better than I can do. I like that.
Yeah, thank you.
I like that.
Well, here's Chipper Jones. It's 2-1.
Skip. And that's inside corner, 2-2. Skip walked up behind me today and he goes, "Hey, Davey, how are you?" I turned around. I said, "I didn't know if it was you or Rich Eisen." Kid at ESPN that does such a good impersonation of him. Here is the 2-2 pitch to Chipper. See it. Changeup. And John Thompson has his best inning. The 5th. Rockies need to get on the board. And against Greg Maddux, that's easier said than done.
Welcome back to Turner Field in Atlanta with Dave Campbell. I'm Dave Armstrong. And Dave, we have seen a great pitchers matchup. Greg Maddux has been as advertised. John Thompson's worked out of several gems and maybe really settled down this last inning.
Sometime this year, the Rockies have got to get their second win when they score 3 or less. Tonight might be a good night to try to do it. Looks like John Thompson's got a chance of holding the Braves down a bit, but the Rockies obviously need to get at least 2, and they have their work cut out against Greg Maddux. Thompson reached on an error by Maddux the first time up. Swung on and missed, and he is retired on 3 pitches. Just the 3rd strikeout for Maddux. He had 2 in the first inning. And here's Walt Weiss. Weiss has flied to center and then hit into a double play. Rockies have had 3 base runners, 2 singles, and then the sacrifice in an error by Maddux, but none have crossed the plate. Weiss to left center field, got a chance. Lofton going, he can't get it. Klesko crossed in front, and Weiss will hold on with a long single. Nice play by Kenny to get it back in. And Walt Weiss gets the Rockies' 3rd hit. A ball that was just kind of perfectly placed between Klesko and Lofton. See Kenny closing ground, but the ball was kind of going back towards Klesko. It looked like there might have been a little mix-up in the outfield there. Ellis Burks outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Is open with a ball to Ellis on all 3 at-bats. Pitch to Burks. and just missed. 2-0. Still going for that corner and still not getting the call.
Burks has probably worked the count better than any other Rocky hitter tonight. He was ahead 2-0 his first time up and saw 8 pitches in his next at bat.
3-2, and foul flied out to Klesko his last time up. They're in the 7th at Florida. San Francisco still holding on to a 1-0 lead.
LA and Houston 2-2.
Dodgers came back to tie them. Ellie, a swinging bunt down the third base side, but that's going to roll foul. Is that Darryl Kyle going for Houston, right? 31? Or is that 37?
Looks like 37.
That'd be Shane Reynolds. One thing I will say about Coors Field versus Turner Field, it's a lot easier to read that scoreboard out in right field than it is out in left field atop the stands. 2 balls and a strike. See if Don Baylor might start Weiss here, 2-1. Can run on Maddox. Not going. Ellis fouls it off, and it's 2-2.
The other thing is there's not enough room on the scoreboard here for all the scores. They just show you the National League scores, and then they'll flash up certain American League games from time to time.
Well, it's like Marge Schott once said, what do we need an out-of-town scoreboard for? Weiss goes, runner goes, but it's fouled off. They had Blauser covering.
I was going to say, Dave, they had Blauser, the shortstop, covering that time, which is unusual with Burks up.
I think Blauser in talking to Maddox now. Maybe the Eddie Perez changed the signs or something, because that was an off-speed pitch, and if that's the case, then you want your second baseman covering. So Blauser came in to make sure what the signs were. Well, they have a wave going here. That's what all the ruckus is about in the stands. Liner, going to be a double play. And it is. Well, Weiss was doubled off. He read it 1 second late. Graffinino fires him out. Second time the Rockies have hit into a double play. This one a line drive. They didn't get a break on it.
Here's our Bank One game summary. Greg Maddux, not his normal 11 out of 20. That's good, but not Maddux-like. But he has checked the Rockies on just 3 hits so far, all singles. The Braves lead on a Ryan Klesko solo home run to lead off the 4th inning. That's some camera. All right. Pull back.
Hope they don't use that one to take a close-up of our face. We got more craters than the moon does.
I thought that was your face for a second.
Fred McGrath. Klesko next, and then Blauser. 1-0 Braves. John Thompson. One mistake, a fastball to Ryan Klesko. I think it was a fastball. It might have been off speed the more I think about it. He whacked it over the center field fence. Prime dog. First pitch swinging. Pop up. Vinny or Weiss. Vinny's got it. So 1 pitch, 1 out.
Well, now we have front office news for you, and it's brought to you by Office Depot. We talked about McGuire, his 50th home run, and the second player in Major League history to do that back-to-back. Babe Ruth did it in the 2021 seasons, and then again 27 and 28. Eric Davis hoping to play for the Orioles this weekend, coming off cancer and still going through chemotherapy.
Here's Ryan Klesko. Yeah, one of the things in between innings after Klesko hit that home run and Thompson bent him back for styling a little bit. I looked at Klesko's bio. Guess who his hero was growing up? Reggie Jackson. He put a little Reggie on that follow-through on his home run. Line to center field. Ellis Burks coming on and grabs this one. So Klesko hit it pretty well, but out. He's gone straightaway center 3 times. Ellis has grabbed 2, and the other one went about 8 rows into the center field bleachers.
Thompson's really settling down, Dave. He has retired 7 in a row since the single by Eddie Perez in the 4th inning.
Well, he certainly has gotten the Braves' attention with the 2 games he's pitched at Turner Field. But so far, he got a no decision in the first one, and he's on the hook to lose this one. Blauser hit, and that one was up high. Jeff nailed for the 17th time this year. Nope, 19th time. He's number 4 in the National League.
And 19 times being hit by a pitch for Blauser, a Braves record in Atlanta. This one up and in on, looked like around the tricep area of that arm. And Don Baylor, he's seen that a few times from point-blank range. He's been hit by a pitch more than anyone in baseball history.
Eddie Perez has had a good evening. 2 solid singles, 1 to center, and then 1 through the hole on the left side. 1 ball, no strikes.
How many times were you hit?
Oh, I don't know. Few. Most pitchers didn't want to bother. Scouting report on me was, don't walk him. One ball, no strikes. And back to first goes Jeff Blauser. 3 steals for Blaus. Not a real running situation here. If you got Graffinino up to lead off next inning, then you get in a position where if he gets on, Maddox can bunt him over. You don't necessarily want Eddie Perez leading off next inning. But unless Thompson throws strikes, he's behind 2-0.
If I may take just a moment to answer some of my voicemail over the air, because the very dear, sweet woman who called me on my answering machine at Coors Field called to complain that I have been calling you soup all season long. And
I hate it.
And she was saying, please don't call him soup. He's not a 99-cent can of soup. He's more valuable to that. And it's not to devalue you. That's not a nickname I coined for Dave Campbell. And think about it, it's Campbell Soup. So you're not offended by that?
No. As a matter of fact, early in my career, I had some nicknames that really offended me. So when they decided to call me Soup, I thought that was great. 2 balls and no strikes to Eddie Perez. Frank Funk coming out and saying, come on, let's go after this guy.
So just to let that very nice woman know that I'm not degrading you in any way by calling you Soup.
Perez fouls it back, out of play.
A lot of people are maybe confused by the affiliation, Soup and Campbell. That's where it really came from, because your last name.
Yeah, it's not too original.
No.
Right.
And by the way,
if somebody writes a letter to me, you know, Soup Campbell, care of the Rockies.
You're right.
Perez fouls it back. The only problem I have is when I get a letter at the Rockies, it starts off, Dear Idiot, and then somebody puts it in my box.
With no last name at all.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Eddie Perez.
I usually get those.
Good breaking ball down and away would get Eddie Perez. He's a pretty good fastball hitter, I think. Thompson had threw some good sliders last inning, 2 innings ago, to Graffinino and Maddox. He throws Eddie Perez one of those, and he'll be putting on the catching gear.
And by the way, if you were a can of soup, I mean, you'd be a family-style, chunky clam chowder that costs about $5. It'd be the most expensive soup.
Bouncer to Vinny. He'll be able to get Eddie Perez with a good throw. Does, and John Thompson has sailed through 6, allowing only a home run to Ryan Klesko. We are on to the 7th. Greg Maddux and the Braves are still on top, 1-0. Braves lead 1-0 as we head to the 7th. Larry Walker in, and so is Dave Armstrong.
Thank you very much, Dave Campbell. Strike 1 to Walker. He's 0 for 2 tonight. He struck out looking in the first and hit a flare to left field, a flyout in the 4th. The Rockies just 3 hits, all singles off Greg Maddux. 1-1 to walk. Charlie Monfort, one of the Rockies owners, on hand here in Atlanta this weekend. Glad to have him aboard. Greg Fiesel sitting next to him with the white shirt on. He is Vice President in charge of marketing and sales for the Rockies. And sitting behind them, a very interested Bob Gebhardt. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The bottom dropped out of that pitch. Larry Walker, you see his average down now to 370. Maddox over 70 pitches now for the game. And again, the bottom drops on. Walker can't find it. Second time he strikes out in the game.
We mentioned that Maddox hadn't utilized the changeup very much, but he just threw 2 beauties right there to Larry Walker. Looks like fastball, and then the bottom just disappears out of it. So he's worked Larry over like a drum tonight.
Well, you see Thompson and Maddox. 7 hits off Thompson, the one that hurt the home run. A liner up over the head of Graffinino on into right field for Galarraga. A 1-out single for the Cats, so he's aboard to set the table for Dante Bichette.
It was almost a comedy act on the right side. You had Graffinino jumping, and Fred McGriff, not anywhere near the play, was jumping, trying to get Graffinino a little higher. And both of them going up, and the ball wasn't even close to Fred.
A little support.
Yeah, Fred's probably saying to Cat, I got a better vertical leap than Graffinino. If you'd hit it to me, I'd have caught that.
Graffinino not able to catch the flare off the bat of Galarraga. And again, the Rockies really haven't hit the ball hard yet tonight. Well, here's Dante Bichette. He had the big blow the other day. A grand slam home run to win the game against the Astros.
Just need one mistake and one good swing, and you can turn this game around. That's one thing about the Rockies. They are one of the best mistake-hitting teams in baseball. You make a mistake to them, and you're going to pay sooner or later.
Bichette has hit 3 home runs in his last 4 games. Boy, a pitch that Bichette probably would like to have back.
Dante's had 2 of them tonight. 2 first-pitch fastballs in the middle of the plate.
Strike 1 to Bichette. That one fouled out of play.
So if you think Maddox hits the corner with every pitch, he's human. He'll throw some in the middle of the plate.
Rip to Graffinino. He's got it to first. No. Galarraga read it well and got back to the bag. That's probably the hardest hit ball by the Rockies tonight.
Yeah, the Rockies have hit 2 line drives to Graffinino, so they haven't exactly had the luck factor on their side. That time, Graffinino had to go 3 steps to his left. And again, most teams would play Dante Bichette more up the middle, but because the pitching plan on Bichette is to work him away, they'll play that way. And again, their radical defensive alignment pays off because Maddox can throw the ball where he wants to.
Here's Vinny Castilla. Hit a 3-1 pitch for a single up the middle his last time up. Galarraga on at first with 2 outs in the 7th. The Rockies trail 1-0.
Scouting reports are absolutely wonderful if your pitching staff can implement them.
First ball swinging Vinny, fouls it at the plate. Strike 1 to Castilla.
Vinny began his career in the Braves system. Rockies taking him in the expansion draft. So you know Vinny would love to do something to get back at his former mates here.
His next home run will be his 40th. It would be his 2nd consecutive year with 40 home runs.
This copyrighted telecast is presented solely for the entertainment of our viewing audience. Any retransmission, rebroadcast of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Colorado Rockies is strictly prohibited.
The 1-strike pitch to Vinny, a fastball that he pops a mile high in the air. Graffinino camping under it, waiting for it to come down. He's got it, and that will do it. Greg Maddox works around the 1-out single by Galarraga. Stretch time at Turner Field. The Braves lead by 1.
National League Scores brought to you by Coca-Cola. First game of the doubleheader, Cincinnati beat Philadelphia by a score of 4-2. Phillies sliding back to earth a little bit, have lost 3 in a row. And the nightcap, though, they are trying to bounce back. It's 4-0 Philadelphia. Giants won, Marlins nothing. San Francisco with a big win against Curt Schilling and the Phillies last night. It's a big game for both clubs. Pirates trying to stay in that National League Central race. They have dropped 8 of 10, though. The Expos over the Mets 2-0. Mets still faintly in the wild card. Cardinals ahead of the Padres 2-1. San Diego playing a little better baseball in the Western Division. Dodgers, Astros. Dodgers have lost 3 straight. The Astros have lost 10 of 13.
Tony Graffinino to lead off for the Braves in the 7th inning. A first pitch slider from Thompson over for a strike. Graffinino 0 for 2 tonight. Braves continue to lead by that Ryan Klesko home run in the 4th inning, 1-0. Fastball hit out to Nefi Perez. Little hop. He's got it. 1 out.
When there's a break in the action, it ought to be the great time for the great taste of Bud Light. Big hit with fans everywhere, because it won't fill you up and never let you down. Why don't you make it a Bud Light?
Greg Maddux to hit here in the 7th inning with his club leading 1-0. Maddux 0 for 2 tonight. Maddux has come up the first 2 times with runners aboard and has not been able to get anything going. And he goes after the first pitch here and fouls it back. Came up with runners at the corners in the 2nd inning and hit a weak fly to right field. And then with a runner at 2nd and 2 outs in the 4th, he struck out. His average down to 83. So I guess if you're going to pinpoint this year anyway, something that Maddux is not doing well, it's helping himself with the bat.
I think Manwaring and John Thompson kind of wondering where that slider was.
Tracks that one down. 2 line drive outs here in the 7th inning.
Catch all the Rockies highlights as well as the scores from around the league with Jim Conrad and Scott Hastings on Sports Tonight, immediately following Denver's 2 news after the game. And by the way, Scooter, if you're listening, thanks, and you know what I'm talking about.
Also, thanks to Scooty for hooking me up with some golf. We had a good time last week back home in Denver.
Scott was huge here in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
He's huge in Denver.
Well, he's big everywhere he goes. He's 6'11". Here's Lofton. First pitch changeup over for a strike. Lofton singled his first time up. He's 0 for 2 since.
John Thompson due to hit 3rd next inning, so he could be seeing his last inning. Unfortunately, he's pitched great.
Strike 2.
Unless Rockies get a man on and Nefi hits a 2-run homer.
There you go. I like your optimism. Rockies with 4 singles tonight. Lofton, did he go?
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did, and there he goes. Lofton strikes out. That's the 5th strikeout for John Thompson. He gets the Braves in order in the 7th. If it is his last inning, he goes out in style. 1-0 Braves.
American League scores brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. The Yankees up by 6 in that ball game. Red Sox over the Brewers 3-1. Brewers still alive in the Central. Cleveland trying to get a big win at Chicago tonight. Rangers 1-0. Pudge Rodriguez a big night last night. Later.
Helton to left field. First pitch. Klesko going back. He's got it just in front of the track. So Helton pinch hitting for Curt Manwaring to lead off the Rockies' 8th inning. He's gone, 1 out.
Well, Todd's the type of guy that stays over there and studies all night. He knew what he was looking for, got it, hit it hard, but no luck. Royals, Angels. Angels lost 13 of 19. Roger Clemens pitching, but Ken Griffey Jr. owns him. He's got 5 lifetime homers, and the Tigers will be at the A's.
Perez looking to bunt, takes the bat back. Or did he? Yes, he did. And it's ball 1 to Nefi Perez. He has one of the Rockies' 4 hits tonight. A single in the 3rd. Jeff Reed now moving into the on-deck circle. Swing and a miss by Perez. So Reed, who will come in to catch for Kurt Manwaring, will come in to pinch hit for John Thompson. Leaves after 7 very strong innings again here at Turner Field. Boy, the 2 outings for John Thompson at Turner Field, and he's going to leave with maybe a loss or maybe nothing to show for it. Here's Mike Munoz up now and warming up in the Rockies bullpen.
3 of the first 4 hitters in the next inning hit from the left side. The exception is Chipper Jones, a switch hitter, and whenever you get a chance to bring a left-hander in with guys like Tucker, Chipper, McGriff, and Klesko, you do it, although I think Tucker will probably give way to Andrew Jones to pinch hit leading off the bottom of the 8th.
Tapped on top of the plate. Graffinino charging and firing, and he gets Perez. So 2 up, 2 down for the Rockies in the 8th inning.
If you wonder why maybe they let off with Todd Helton instead of Jeff Reed so that Jeff could just hit in the 7th spot, what Don Baylor was hoping is that Helton would get on and then he could pinch run Quentin McCracken so he could get some speed there. But it didn't work out as Todd lined out, so Reed will stay in the game and catch and hit 9th. The pitcher Munoz will hit in the 7th spot.
And conversely, if Reed had led off with a base hit, he can't pinch run for him because it's his only other catcher. Reed, you see his numbers as a pinch hitter. First pitch down too low, ball 1. So John Thompson's night is over, and it was another sterling night here in Atlanta. He gave up just the 1 run, the Ryan Klesko home run to lead off the 4th inning. And after that home run, he really settled in and pitched great. Through the first 3+ innings, he struggled just a little bit, but he was helped out by his defense. Larry Walker throwing out Kenny Lofton at the plate as an example. But John Thompson, again, he has pitched 2 sterling games here at Turner Field.
And is going to get a hang with them unless the Rockies can do something here with 2 outs in the 8th inning.
Well, he did his job, though, didn't he?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you check a team to 1 run in 7 innings. You've done your job as a starter. That's why he can smile a little bit, but boy, wouldn't he like for the Rockies to come back and win this one.
You know, the Rockies figure to have some firepower coming up in the 9th.
The Rockies will have, at worst, their lead man up, Weiss, Burks, and Walker, in the 9th inning. 1-2 pitch, just missed, and it's 2-2.
Decision for Bobby Cox is, will he stay with Maddox or go to Mark Wohler as his closer? Maddox's pitch count certainly within the bounds of going for a complete game.
Flared, Blauser going out. He's got it. Rockies go in order in the 8th inning. Greg Maddox sailing along through 8. The Braves leading 1-0.
Braves still lead this one on the Ryan Klesko homer, 1-0. Rockies will only have 1 shot left. They got to hold the Braves here in the bottom of the 8th. Rockies baseball is brought to you by voice messaging by US West. With voice messaging, people can leave you messages even when you're on the phone. And for somebody like Dave Armstrong, that's a big deal. He lives on the phone. Life's better here, US West.
Go ahead.
Get that thing surgically implanted in your ear, don't you?
Yeah, I've got one of those walking headsets. Jeff Reed takes over for Manwaring behind the plate. Mike Munoz comes on in relief of John Thompson, who went 7 innings, giving up just that 1 run on the home run, 7 hits, 1 walk, 5 punch-outs. Munoz has been scored upon just 2 times in his last 19 games. Big out on Wednesday's game with runners at 2nd and 3rd, or excuse me, a runner at 3rd and 2 out. Bill Spires was caught looking to end that threat.
How's this one? John Thompson pitches 14 innings at Turner Field this year. He goes to 1-3 ball count. He gives up 2 runs, and he's not going to get a win in either one of them. And he may get a loss in this one. He got a no decision in the first one. That is some awfully good pitching not to get any kind of result out of it.
Isn't that the truth? Well, Andrew Jones, as Dave predicted, will pinch hit here for Michael Tucker to lead off the 8th inning. Jones, a right-handed batter. He'll be followed by Chipper Jones, no relation. And then Fred McGriff.
I was going to be Spike Jones was going to hit third.
Mark Wohlers is warming up, we understand, in that Braves bullpen. Might be going for his 34th save. Looped out to right. Walker, he's there now, and he makes the catch. One gone in the 8th inning. So one out for the Braves, and that'll bring up Chipper Jones, the switch hitter, now hitting from the right side.
Rockies fans, don't pass up your chance to join the Rockies Rookies Kids Fan Club and cheer on the Rockies. Fan ages 15 and under can join. Call the Rocky Rookies Kids Fan Club hotline at 303-312-2BAT or visit your local dugout store or Joslin's. All members receive a special Rockies Rookies fun pack.
Fastball high and wide from Munoz. Ball one. Jones 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Munoz, his chore is to keep it 1-0 and give the top of the order a chance to play catch up against most likely Mark Wohlers. Just missed. 2-1. The corner.
I was kind of daydreaming. I don't know if you said it. If I'm repeating myself, I apologize. Chipper Jones, 20 homers this year, only one batting right-handed.
I've not said that.
That's why you do want him to bat right-handed whenever you can get him that way. He's actually a natural right-handed hitter, but he has swung so many times from the left side, and he feels much more comfortable now as a lefty.
3-2 pitch, and he went around. So a strikeout for Munoz. 2 gone now in the 8th inning.
Dropped the hook on him. Chipper was looking fastball all the way, 3-2, and that is Uncle Charlie, Chipper. You went too far. And then when you're sitting fastball and you get the old yellow hammer, you may go sit.
Well, a lot of nicknames for that curveball.
Oh, yeah, well.
Yellow Hammer, Uncle Charlie.
Yeah. The old equalizer.
Equalizer.
I want to get you into broadcasting early.
I hadn't heard that one. Here's Crime Dog, speaking of nicknames. Fred McGriff singled his first time up, but he won't here. If that stays fair, it will. And McGriff and Galarraga will race to the bag, and Galarraga beats him. So Munoz gets the Braves in order in the 8th inning. Weiss will lead it off for the Rockies, their last chance.
Still 1-0. The Atlanta Braves, last shot for the Rockies. They'll have the top of the order coming up. On Tuesday, September 23rd, Giants in town. King Soopers commemorative lapel pin number 4. First 25,000 fans through the gate will get one. Rockies and Giants, game time 7:05. Gates open at 5. And there are tickets still available. You can check out the Coors Field ticket office, King Soopers, any Rockies dugout store, or by calling 1-800-388-ROCK.
Andrew Jones, who came in to pinch hit for Michael Tucker, will take over in right field for Tucker. And taking over defensively for Ryan Klesko in left is Danny Bautista, pretty quick outfielder. So it's Bautista, Tucker, and Jones now in the outfield. And Mark Wohlers coming on in relief of Greg Maddux. Wohlers going for save number 34.
Now, this guy, believe it or not, probably has had as many postseason games as any major league pitcher in history. I mean, he's still in his 20s, but with the Braves going to postseason every year except that strike year in 1994, Mark Wohlers is nearing the 40-game plateau in postseason, so he's been through the wars.
The bullpen has been shaky for the Braves this year, but not Mark Wohlers, especially when he comes on in the 9th inning.
You know, Greg Maddux threw 88 pitches, got the strike ball ratio a lot better towards the end with 62 strikes and only 26 balls. That's Pretty much the normal ratio for Maddox. 4 strikeouts, no walks. I think 2 3-ball counts, went to Vinny and 1 to Ellis Burks.
So here's Walt Weiss. He singled his last time up. It was part of a double play. Fastball, and that's Wohler's best pitch. It usually comes in around 97 miles per hour. That's a ball.
We'll see if Walt will take a strike here. We'll see his numbers. 4 walks, 3 for 7. That's 7 out of 11 on base. That's a terrific percentage.
Well, Walt's got to be feeling a lot more confident against Wohlers than he ever did against Greg Maddux. 2-0 to Walt, and you got to figure he's taking all the way here.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking, just maybe he's going to take a strike here.
You think?
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb again.
All right. Wohlers certainly does not want to put the tying run on base here in the 9th inning. Burks and Walker to follow. 3-0. You got to feel weird. I mean, if you're Wohlers, now you're coming in for Greg Maddux, who just pitched 8 shutout innings. That's got to be a little bit of pressure. You don't want to blow it for him.
Yeah, he blew a save recently for Maddux, so, you know, that stays on your mind for a while.
And that is a strike at the knees. 3-1. Maddux, by the way, his earned run average dropped from 2.31 to 2.23 after tonight's shutout performance.
Generally leads the league, but Pedro Martinez at 1.81 this year looks like he's going to win that title.
High and tight, and Weiss with the lead walk for the Rockies. So now Don Baylor's club with a chance to not only tie it, but maybe win it in the 9th inning. They have the lead man aboard, nobody out.
Now let's see what Don has in mind. The general rule of thumb is on the road you play for a win. At home you would play for the tie and have Ellis bunting, but we'll see what Don has in store here. Wohler's not an easy guy to bunt.
No, not with that 97-mile-per-hour heater. Chipper Jones kind of playing even with the bag in on the grass at 3rd.
Who?
Chipper Jones.
Who? Chipper. You got to give me the name.
Chipper Jones.
Sorry.
Make mine nice.
Sorry.
Skip there.
There's Chipper.
And not showing any bunt, and it's ball 1 to Burks. So Wohler's having trouble getting a strike here. He walked Weiss, and he's behind Burks 1-0. Ellis came into this game hitting almost 500 over his last 8 games. As you saw, 0 for 3 tonight. He lined into that double play his last time up, but against Wohlers, not bad. 2 for 6. 2-0.
Well, if it were Frank Funk, he would be out. But Leo Mazzoni has spent many, many years with Mark Wohlers, and I think he has enough confidence that he thinks Mark can turn it around without coming out.
Swing and a miss. Burks chasing that fastball, and it's 2-1.
Country hardball. Wohlers went, all right, you know what's coming. I'm going to let it go. And he just beat him with a high fastball.
Gene Glenn flashing the signs. Walt Weiss on at first. Nobody out. 9th inning. 1-0 Braves. Jerry DePoto begins to warm up for the Rockies in the bullpen in case the Rockies can get ahead here in the 9th. Now Burks to bunt, and he bunts it foul.
You know, Don gave him 1 strike and then switched it up. Wohlers does have a high leg kick, and he's pretty prone to giving up the stolen base. Let's see if Don's in a gambling mood. Played it straight up the first 4 pitches.
Larry Walker on deck. He's glad that Maddux is gone. He went 0 for 3 against Greg. So Wohlers now has evened the count with Ellis Burks. 2 balls, 2 strikes. There's that high leg kick. Weiss not going anywhere, and it's slapped into right field for the base hit. Weiss will stop at second base, but the Rockies have the first 2 runners on here in the 9th inning. Nobody out. Bobby Cox and Leo Mazzoni are beside themselves. Greg Maddux has got to be concerned as well. He threw 8 shutout innings, and now the Rockies trying to rally in the 9th.
Fastball got too much of the plate, and Ellis stays inside it and hits a BB to right field.
And now you've got the right guy coming up with 2 on, nobody out. Larry Walker with a chance to give the Rockies the lead. Walker with the National League leading 43 home runs. Hits it hard. That's a base hit. They're going to wave Weiss home. Andrew Jones' throw comes to the plate, and Weiss is safe. He beat it. Walt Weiss has scored to tie the game at 1.
Andrew Jones has got a great arm. We saw him throw out Dante Bichette at the top of the telecast last time we were here. If he had thrown a perfect strike, Weiss was gone, but Gene Glenn gambled, and the throw just offline, and Weiss got the foot in. So Larry Walker off the bench hacking, base hit to right field. And you know with Jones it's going to be close. Riverboat Gambler, throw, slide, Weiss's foot gets in, and out comes Bobby Cox.
So Mark Wohlers is yet to retire a batter. The high throw, and Weiss slides in safely to tie the game. That's going to do it for Mark Wohlers. He walks Weiss, gives up singles to Burks and Walker, and he is gone. So too is any chance for a Greg Maddux win here tonight. John Thompson off the hook as Mark Wohlers blows the save here in the 9th inning. A pitching change at Turner Field with the Rockies tying the game at 1. They still have 2 on with nobody out in the 9th inning.
1-1, the Rockies have tied it here in the 9th.
Mike Cather coming out of the bullpen for the Braves. He has not allowed a run in his last 6 appearances. Called up from AAA Richmond back in the middle of July. That's when the Braves shook up their bullpen. Walt Weiss has scored the tying run here in the 9th inning, and the Rockies still have 2 on with nobody out, and Galarraga the batter.
Well, John Thompson kept them close, and Walt Weiss got a key walk to lead the inning off, and then Ellis Burks a 2-strike single to set it up.
You see the line on Cather so far this year. Side armor, and this one drilled to deep right field. Jones going back. It's off the scoreboard. Burks is coming home. Walker's following him. They're going to wave him home as well. The throw to the plate, and Walker slides it safe. There goes Galarraga to third. He's safe. Wow, the Rockies have really rallied here in the 9th inning.
Larry Walker almost ran down Ellis Burks. Walker had a brilliant read on it. Ellis Burks wasn't sure. And Walker with a great slide at the plate. He was out by 5 feet. But he slid around the tag by Eddie Lopez, and the Rockies have gotten off the shelf to score 3 here in the 9th. Look at Burks, and here comes Walker right up his back. I was hoping make sure Ellis scores. Look at the throw is there. Walker a brilliant slide around Eddie Perez, who double clutched to third, and that allowed Galarraga to get in.
So now the infield in for Dante Bichette, and he hits the first pitch high up in the air. Is there room? Charlie Montfort might get in the way of that one.
Attaboy, Charlie, make a play. Don't let Chipper have it.
That was about 4 rows back.
That'll be a double for Galarraga, 2 RBIs, and he goes to third on the throw.
Well, the Cat now with 128 runs batted in. The Rockies have rallied for 3 here in the 9th. Still nobody out.
Braves have the great closer in Wohlers, who didn't get it done tonight, but their middle relief is the one albatross that everybody in Atlanta is worried about.
Again, fouled by Bichette. He's down to the count 0-2. Dante with 2 strikes, one of the best 2-strike hitters in the game. This all started with a walk to Walt Weiss off Mark Wohlers, who is just almost in disbelief right now in that Braves dugout. Then singles by Burks and Walker, a double from Galarraga. Dante with a little nubber out to Chipper. A fair ball, and out at first is Bichette. Galarraga staying at third.
Now, I know the Rockies are only 1-41 when they score 3 runs or less, but I'd still like to see them get another run.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Get greedy. Braves will have Danny Bautista, we believe, leading off, then Blauser and Eddie Perez scheduled, but we're liable to see a pinch hitter or two. They have a lot of left-handed batters, and we expect to see DePoto in the bottom of the ninth.
The Rockies, Dave, coming into tonight just 3-64 when they trail after 8 innings. A swing and a miss from Vinny, trying to get Galarraga home from third with 1 out.
Thought process at the plate right now for Vinny is he's got to look for a ball up in the zone and try to hit it straight away. And you get the ball airborne that way. If you try to pull it, you're going to hit something to Blauser or Chipper.
Look at Perez setting up way outside, and again Vinny pulling off that ball, trying to pull it, and he's down on the count 0-2. Jerry DePoto up and throwing in that Rockies pen. Coming on now for what will, for him, be a save situation unless the Rockies score a few more. Mike Munoz, the pitcher of record. That one almost thrown to the backstop by Cather.
That was a show-me fastball way outside to come back with another breaking ball. Don't try to sneak the cheese by Vinny very often.
What a way to begin this road trip, huh? That one hit down the line, but hooking foul and out of play.
Vinny had a fat one. He just pulled the trigger a tad soon on it.
1-2 strikes to Vinny. 3 runs in for the Rockies, who lead 3-1. So John Thompson's great effort will not die in vain here tonight. At least let's hope not.
Well, Mooney would stand to get the win right now, and if they did, that would make the bullpen 12-1 since August the 5th.
Just missed inside, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
John Vanderwall out in the on-deck circle with Munoz's spot in the order.
Munoz came on in the 8th inning and retired the Braves in order, getting Andrew Jones, Chipper Jones, and Fred McGriff. The 2-2 pitch to Vinny hit him. So Vinny Castilla hit with a pitch. He goes down to first base, and he's not real happy with the pitcher.
Now, Catherine made 2 excellent breaking balls to him the first 2 pitches, but just couldn't make a third pitch. And finally, he tried to come in on Vinny and came way too far inside. Vinny kind of didn't know which way to go. Whoops.
So Vinny hit on the seat of the pants. Bobby Cox makes a few notes. John Vanderwall, he's scratching out one name and putting Vandy's name in here in his lineup card. Vanderwall, as a pinch hitter this year, you can see has struggled. A golden opportunity here for him to get Galarraga home from third. There's 1 out in the 9th inning.
Cather, like Steve Reed, who throws down under, also has the changeup. That's what he threw Vandy to start off.
Outside, 1-1 to John Vanderwall.
Well, the Giants beat Florida 1-0. Well, Florida Marlins have lost 5 out of their last 6. They polished off the Baltimore Orioles 3 in a row, and all of a sudden they're really beginning to struggle.
Caught the corner. 1-2 now to Vandy.
Very strange game to figure out. Looked like the Marlins, at the very worst, were going to cruise into the wild card, and all of a sudden that lead is starting to cut into.
Yeah, they led by just 4 going into tonight. In fact, 4 over both Florida and San Francisco, so that lead will be cut almost no matter what. Now, a strikeout of Vanderwall, and Mike Cather batter away from getting out of this with no further damage, but he gave up the big 2-run double from Galarraga that gave the Rockies the lead.
Rockies having trouble getting that 4th run in. They had Dante up and Vanderwall, 2 of their better hitters, but they didn't even sniff getting Andres Galarraga in. Now it's going to be up to the youngster Nafi Perez to see if he can do it.
The Rockies are tired of us talking about them being 1-41 when scoring 3 or less. They want to put a stop to that. Well, here's Nafi, 1 for 3 tonight. At the knee, he's called a strike. Nafi with a question mark look on his face after that call. Strike 2. It's 1-2 to Nafi Perez. Coming up for the Braves in that 9th inning, Bautista, Blauser, and Eddie Perez. Those are the scheduled hitters anyway. Bobby Cox still has a full complement of pinch hitters on his bench.
Got at least 5 lefties, although we're not sure about Keith Lockhart, who's had a side pull.
There goes Vinny. Doesn't matter, though. Nafi swings and misses. But the Rockies rally for 3 in the 9th inning. Ellis Burks with a big hit in the inning. He scored the go-ahead run, driven home by Andres Galarraga. Well, we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. The Rockies leading it 3-1 here at Turner Field in Atlanta. The Rockies making some defensive changes, putting Quentin McCracken in center field. Ellis Burks moves from center field over to left field. And the new pitcher for the Rockies is the closer, Jerry Dipoto. Jerry Dipoto coming on now to close things out with the Rockies leading by 2. Dipoto has been brilliant. He is absolutely dominating. He struck out the side in the 9th on Wednesday to get his 13th save. That's 2 more than he got when he was with the Cleveland Indians in '93.
Looks like they're going to send up Tommy Gregg to pinch hit for Danny Bautista. Gregg, a longtime member of the Braves organization, was one of the top pinch hitters for him about 5 or 6 years ago, and he's stayed with the organization. Usually spends most of the year at AAA, but a lot of times they'll call him up in September to give them an extra left-handed bat off the bench.
Well, the Rockies with a chance to win it and start this road trip off with a bang. Coming back with 3 in the top of the 9th inning. Don Baylor's club, I guess if you have a signature, it's the fact that these guys just never, ever give up. I was talking with Groove before tonight's game about how proud he must be with the way the Rockies have responded over the last couple of weeks, especially after losing that day-night doubleheader to Cincinnati. And he said, I think for a lot of guys, they just wanted to close out strong. And boy, haven't the Rockies done that. Winning 12 of their last 14 and coming back on Mark Wohlers here tonight with 3 in the 9th inning. Now let's see if Jerry Dipoto can close it out. Tommy Gregg pinch hitting. 0 for 2 as a pinch hitter on the recent road trip.
One of the interesting things, you know, awards at the end of the year. Greg Maddux, I think that's the 4th blown save they've had for him. You give him 22 wins, and then he's the front runner for the Cy Young. But Wohlers let it out. That's the 2nd time that he's given up a Maddux lead in the 9th inning this year.
The Dodgers, by the way, are on their way to losing their 4th straight. Houston leading 5-2 in the 7th inning at the Astrodome.
Houston's got to get their bullpen straightened out, though. That's been a total mess for them, so that game's far from over right now, and I know Larry Dierker feels the same way.
The 1-1 pitch hit on the ground to Weiss. He gets a good hop and throws out Gregg. 1 gone in the 9th inning.
Always important to get that first guy in any inning, but the bottom of the 9th when you're trying to protect the lead.
So that'll bring up Jeff Blauser facing Dipoto. Pitcher of record Mike Munoz for the Rockies. Mark Wohlers for the Braves right now.
Randall Simon, a young prospect out of the Braves system, out of Curacao, same country that produced Andrew Jones, is on deck.
Fastball and a beauty on the outside edge at the knees. Strike 1 to Blauser. Blauser 1 for 2 tonight. A single, struck out looking, and hit by a pitch his last time up. Line drive. Nafi can't catch up. A base hit for Blauser, and the Braves are not going to go quietly.
Nafee got a bad jump on this. I don't know if he didn't read it off the bat very well, but when I first was hit, I thought he was going to get there, and all of a sudden he didn't.
So that'll bring up Randall Simon. Simon coming up the 1st of September on a call up from AAA. His first time in the big leagues. Really waves that bat around. Katz got it to Weiss for one. The relay in time. The game-ending double play, and put another check mark in the W column for the Rockies. Jerry DiPoto, his 14th save of the year. Don Baylor's club coming back from a 1-0 deficit with 3 runs in the 9th inning, and it's all smiles for the Rockies to begin this road trip. Andres Galarraga, a big 2-run double. Ellis Burks scoring a run. Walker following him home. Mike Munoz picks up the win in relief of John Thompson, who was absolutely outstanding for 7 innings tonight. The Rockies win Game 1 here in Atlanta by the final score of 3-1. Dave and I will come back to Turner Field in Atlanta to put the final wraps on things.
This is Dave Young. Denver police end a year-long investigation into the use of deadly force. Tonight we'll have results and reaction from those affected in the community. Access to handguns in Colorado may be easier than you think. Tonight we'll tell you about the controversy surrounding an upcoming gun show. And in our cover story tonight, you'll meet a woman who's come out of the violent cycle of domestic abuse and how her courage is now helping get the message out to other victims. Join us for 2 News tonight at 9.
Well, the Rockies with a thrilling come-from-behind win here in Atlanta tonight, scoring 3 runs in the 9th inning. Mike Munoz picking up the win in relief. Jerry DiPoto gets his 14th save. Mark Wohlers did not retire a batter. He suffers his 6th loss of the year. A home run by Klesko, the only run for the Braves tonight off John Thompson. With Dave Campbell, I'm Dave Armstrong. What a great comeback by the Rockies tonight, and Andres Galarraga had a key hit in that 9th inning.
Yeah, the 2 games the Rockies have won when they've scored 3 runs or less, both times they came back from 1-0 deficits. In New York, Larry Walker hit a 2-run homer in the 8th inning, and they held on to win this one. They had lost 31 straight games where they scored 3 runs or less. But tonight, Weiss got a hit. Weiss got a walk, Burks a hit, then Walker got a big hit to tie it, and that brought up Andres Galarraga against Mike Cather, who had just come in, and he doubled into the corner. Ellis Burks steaming towards the plate. He's going to make it, but right on his heels, Larry Walker. Throw was there in time, but a great slide to evade the tag by Walker. And Mike Winters had a couple of tough calls at the plate in the 9th inning. He got them both right. And give some credit to Gene Glenn. He's been under some heat this year. I mean, the third base coach, your basic philosophy of the third base coach is make them make the perfect throw to get you. When they do, you look bad, but Gene Glenn made 2 calls tonight on sending Walt Weiss and Larry Walker, and one of them a great slide, and another time Andrew Jones just threw it offline. But you got to be a bit of a riverboat gambler there to succeed.
Well, he was a riverboat gambler tonight, and it all came up aces for the Rockies, who win 3-1. How about your Coors player of the game?
Well, I mean, a lot of heroes in the 9th inning, but John Thompson kept the club and gave him a chance to win the game. He had his 2nd great performance here at Turner Field. Again, 14 innings he's pitched here, and he has only gone to 1 3-ball count in 14 innings. He gets Kenny Lofton, and Kenny went around, couldn't hold up, and that was one of John's strikeouts tonight. He is our Coors player of the game, and he'll receive a gift certificate from the Shane Company.
So John Thompson, outstanding here tonight. We saw another clinic from Greg Maddux, and how disappointed must he be to lose another one after throwing 8 shutout innings.
Well, he did his job, and you know, if this were the 7th game of the World Series, I'm sure he would have come out there in the 9th inning, but they have a 7.5 or 6.5 game lead. You know, Bobby Cox is going to take care of that starting pitching staff. That's the bread and butter of this club. He only threw 88 pitches, but Bobby knows that the Atlanta Braves have another month and a half of baseball in front of them, probably.
All right, that'll do it here from Atlanta tonight. Don't forget to join us again tomorrow night from Turner Field when we have yet another telecast here on the Rockies Baseball Network. Roger Bailey will try to make it 2 straight over the Braves tomorrow night. Once again, our final score here from Turner Field. The Rockies win it in thrilling fashion, coming up with 3 runs in the top of the 9th inning to beat Greg Maddux and the Braves by the final score of 3-1. Until tomorrow night, for Dave Campbell and our entire crew here in Atlanta, Dave Armstrong saying so long from Turner Field. Colorado Rockies baseball has been brought to you by the Rocky Mountain News. If you live here, you get it. Call 1-800-892-NEWS for home delivery. By Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of the Colorado Rockies. Always a hit, always Coca-Cola. By Chrysler, Dodge, and Jeep Eagle, the official vehicles of the Colorado Rockies. And by Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.